serious matter. We come to work not for exercise. Some people probably do it, but we do not come to work every morning to make people pressure us if we are 5 minutes late or we are 6 minutes late. You know, just for the fun of it. We come to earn something to translate that, right, into taking care of our family. And the same set of people who set the terms of our employment is the same set of people who actually deal with the value of money. And it's right? And there's a whole lot of games that are going on. And let me just demonstrate one of the games. Where is my little shenanigan?
Yeah, right here.
Yes, here's the shenanigan I have here. Right? Wait. Look, we're all in the train. I'm a trickster, I know that. We all are tricksters, but I am top notch. I know that. Okay. The point I'm saying, we are in the subway and seeing these guys walk around and right, floating money, floating a whole lot of things, right? And they get money. Right? So here we are floating this. And you know this is crap. Don't you know that's crap? You know it can't be floating. Absolute crap. True? It defies the laws of physics. Right? But we fall for it just for the fun of it. This is amusement. But when it comes to our pay, that's no longer amusement. Right? And you can't see it because there's a string wool in it. True? You know that. Right? But this is what's going on. What we are saying, the contract that we have is a relationship. Right? And there's something that keep it the way it is. Somebody benefit out of it. Just like how we know this is not by accident. The pay we get is not by accident. There's cause to it. The pay we get, what we do impact on the amount of the contract that we have. What we have is going to impact on the future. How we behave now to get what we have, right? Should determine what we are going to do. So let's do a little bit of analysis. Bear in mind, the same guys over there. You know I'm picking on those guys over there. You know I'm picking on them. They overshadow us. So every time I look through the window, I see Goldman Sachs. Right? So I'm not picking on them because that's the only person I can pick on. They are our neighbors across the street. Right? So I know they are just another part of Wall Street, but they are right over there. So I'm picking on them. All right? All right, so let's see what the context of our discussion. You all got this, right?
No. No.
I assume you got it. I assume you got it. We have a couple extras here.
We went in the mail.
Okay, it was mailed out. You see, our eyes is going bad. All right, from afar. How are you doing? All right. Now, we did this before a contract, true? This was sent out before they negotiated the contract. I'm speaking quickly, but I know you can follow. This was sent out before the contract was done. What was the purpose of this? The purpose of this was to give our position for the negotiators, right? The purpose of this was to give a position that people are negotiating will have a context for negotiating. So we said here, I'm coming up to the other point, where we are now. We said here, not RE did it, not Local 768, not you did it, but DC 37 Research Department say we deserve a good contract. True? And they say we deserve a good contract based on the cost of living, based on productivity, based on overtime, based on contracting out, and that sort of thing. True? Yeah. This is not my document. The DC 37 produced this document. And before they have the negotiation, we put it there and said, we are supportive of this position. That if we are going to get a contract, if the wage increase that we get should have some basis to cost of living, productivity, right? Contracting out, right? These sort of things. And we're stuck in here, not we, because we advocated this every meeting we have. We do not get step increase. Right? It did not become a major point here. It's a sub-point down here, right? State workers have step increase, right? You remember we talk about the police and these people every meeting we come. So the point we are saying, we laid out our position, right? Not only did we lay out our position and gave it to all the relevant people, but it was also put here we made it a widespread thing. It's in the chief here. right? It's in the chief at page 17. The same letter that was here, right? The same letter that was here, written by Sister Fisher, right? Why sanitarian and other workers deserve a wage increase. Did you all read it? Right? You agree with it, right? What? Not only is it here, but it got wider publication. Okay? But this is just on a piece of paper. So the first step we said is, these are the conditions under which we should get some increase. Right? These are the on-paper justification. But does this mean anything? No. Absolutely nothing. For this to have any meaning, we have to put force behind it. True? Right? For this to have meaning and purpose, and to have the result that we deserve, it must have the force of the members, the force of the workers in it. This does not mean anything. This is just somebody writes something and virtually waste ink. Right? What has meaning is if we organize collectively and force de Blasio to take cognizance of us, right? To force the city to start to tremble, to say 152 unions, right, were without a contract. The flip side of that, if so many people are without a contract, it means that it's going to be a tremendous cost. Right? So if so many people work with me, so we are come to the third step of our analysis. Right? The first step is this. We say it doesn't mean anything. True? The next step we say we have to mobilize to do something. We are saying as a subset of that, it is going to cost a whole lot. So the disadvantage when we have 152 unions without a contract is that it's going to cost a whole lot. The advantage of it is if 152 unions are without a contract, we have tremendous power. If we use the power, right, we have tremendous power. But if the power, you remember when we were doing physics, right? And you have the force, you have the one that was, what you have the one when the force is up top. And you remember, who is the doctor, the physicist in here? Right? Potential. You remember the potential? You remember it? Right? So you have the potential here. You remember? People are looking at me like I'm making it up. Right? You have the potential power. So we have a tremendous potential power. But did we do anything with it? No. Probably we did. Probably the unions did. But were the members involved in there? Were the union leaders sufficient enough to get a good contract? Right? Unless the members are involved, we can't get a good contract. I say we can't get a good contract. Right? And this is why in this, I know people are going to say I'm opposed to things. I'm not opposed to anything. What we are saying is we have to analyze what our role is. Where we are, why we are where we are, where we want to, and how do we get this. Right? So it's a simple question. Where we are, how we got here, if we are not satisfied with where we are, how do we come out of this? Right? It's a very simple question. Right. So what we put in here is that, look, you remember this cartoon? You remember the cartoon?
Yes.
And you have it there again. You remember that if you just have a few union leaders negotiating, they treat us as expenses. Right? But once you have the organized workers and you have the organized leadership working together, they immediately have to transform us from being liability, right? From being expenses, strictly speaking, right? To being an asset. You can't have doctors and these people in the place, running the place, and you say they are not an asset, right? If you have a serviceman, I'm just making the example, which we all know. If you have a serviceman, take the SEAL, right? I'm not in the military. But the amount of money you spend to train the SEALs, you have to protect them, right? Because the amount of resources you put in that person, right, is an asset. You can't afford for the person to be killed just like that, right? Likewise, we are assets, right? But we have to demand it. So let's continue with our analysis. So the first thing, let me